Make sure my halal hat looks okay. Got the Sixers showing. Who cares? I'm married.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We're back for week 5 of the pod, or I guess this is week 5 of the podcast. Obviously, you see that Yassine is not with us, so your prayers were answered. Another podcast where Yassine is not yapping in your ear. This week, we have MB legend, future Hall of Famer, inshallah, known for your endless range and shooting from the parking lot, and often compared to James Harden, Wasay. Welcome to the podcast. This was... I know a lot of people were looking forward to this week's guest, and I'm sure that this podcast will be the best because Yassine's not here and Farhad's not yapping in my ear either.
That's perfect. Jazakallah khair for having me. You guys are awesome for setting this up.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for being here. So you can see, usually we'll start with the standings. We'll look at the box scores for each game, and that's when we'll get to discuss the fantastic game that we had that went exactly according to plan. We'll look at our season's stats leaders, and then we'll look at next week's games, and we'll make our calls for who we think will come out victorious.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So real quick, the standings are: Sheikh Jarrah is in first place, 3-2. They're on a 1-loss streak. Sheikh Jarrah is
Monim's team.
Dear Yassine, that's you guys.
Yep.
Right. 3-2. You guys just won one, unfortunately. Ramallah, that's Farhad's team. 3-2. They just won one. Tiberius, 2-3. They just won their last one, so they got their win this week. Nazareth, an unfortunate, crippling, very sad and depressing loss that I have not been able to get over. 2-3. We're on a 1-loss streak, but not as bad as Yassine's Lod being 2-3. And on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, they were talking a lot after those first 2 wins. So
yeah, well, I think that they were super confident because Ethan and Dawood
they lit it up.
Basically did everything for them. But as soon as Dawood got sick, unfortunately, and Ethan went on vacation, and Yassine ran off to Morocco, we started seeing what this team is really made of. So
yeah, I mean it's important to have your full squad. I mean, you guys experienced that, right, on Saturday. So these standings are, I don't know, man. It's people are in and out of the lineup. There's people breaking their hand and hurting their hamstrings. And
definitely unfortunate.
There's a lot of injuries going around. Anwar obviously hurt himself, so inshallah he's doing better.
Inshallah.
Shout out to Anwar. I wish he played Saturday.
Yeah, of course. He was definitely looking forward to that game as much as I think the rest of our team was. But I think that one was very personal for him for whatever reason.
I don't know why. I never say a word to him about anything.
I'm sure
I
that
don't
you
talk
didn't.
any trash. You guys know me, so I don't know what extra motivation he would have against us, but I'm just glad we won.
I'm sure that there was no talk going on, right? He just wanted to. It was just a friendly rivalry.
It was just friendly, We work in the same place, so we just kind of talk here and there.
I forgot that you're also part of that. There's it's Anwar and Waqas, right, that work with you guys, and Farhad is on your team.
Dawood works there too.
Dawood works there too.
Yeah.
Next year, you guys should do if they do a draft again, you guys should draft a PPL team. How do you think that?
Maybe we'll do that. Who knows?
How confident? Actually, you know what? That would be a really good. The PPL squad might be a pretty good squad. You have some really great shooters, a lot of size.
It might not be bad. Yeah, we could try it. Andy also works at PPL.
Man.
Yeah. So we could actually probably pull it off. But
we're not doing a draft next year.
But we're not talking about the PPL squad. We're talking about this year's squads.
Fair. Well, hey, honestly though, say what you want. The standings are pretty. It's pretty even, right? There's a three-way tie for first place and a 3-way tie for last place.
Yeah, I mean it's clear that the teams are even, and even if you look at the point differential, the highest is Sheikh Jarrah with plus 4.6. That's, I mean, I don't think it could get any more even than what we're seeing so far. So
I mean, and I think that's also props to the captains for drafting so well that this is how even the games are going to be. I think it's going to be super interesting these coming weeks because we're past the halfway point.
Yep.
And it'll be really interesting seeing how these teams hold up in playoff mode, right? Especially Lod at the bottom. We're hoping that they can figure something out to stop losing.
Yeah, I'm sure they will when they have their full squad. Who they were missing a couple of guys this week. My brother I know was out. He was sick.
Akbar was out. They
Somebody
were
else was
also
out too.
missing Ethan.
Ethan's a huge,
and
huge person to
and
not have.
Dawood unfortunately is coming off of he was very sick, so he was
He was
like,
really sick with 20 points. Yeah,
well, he
he
told me
definitely.
he was playing like 70%.
Nah, he was fine. Come on, he shot 5 of 12 from three. I'm pretty sure. I looked at the box score
This
before
guy
the.
did his homework. This will be my first time looking at the box scores,
Yeah, I don't know. I did my homework real quick while I was coming over here.
like
Um,
driving
so
through the
okay, I
monsoon.
didn't do it while I was driving, but yes, I did look at the box scores because I was like, let me
Well,
not just wing it.
let's take a look at these box scores. So, game one, Lod versus Tiberius. Tiberius pulls away the win by almost 10 points. Let's take a look at that game and see how it went. You are right. Dawood did hit 20. So, did you have I don't know how many games did you have a chance to watch? Did you watch this
I
one?
didn't watch any of these games. I only played in mine. That's it.
Uh, okay, fair enough. Well, we can look at let's look at Yassine's team first. Lod. Dawood had a great game. 20 points, 6 turnovers is kind of rough, but still 20 points. No one else was scoring like that. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 steals. He's almost putting up Yusuf number of steals with 5 steals.
Yeah.
7 for 15, 5 for 12 from the 3-point line. Let's see, who else do we got? We had a visitor. Gauss kind of had a rough shooting day, 2 and 10, 1 and 7, 5 rebounds for him, 2 steals, 5 points. James, 11 points. I feel like this is another solid game for James. I don't feel like he's much of a shooter for his team as much as a facilitator.
In a game like this, though, I feel like he should have taken more shots, like more threes. He's actually a decent 3-point shooter. He just doesn't shoot it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But I would say, I mean, Yassine kind of had a little bit of a rough game too. It looks like it wasn't too bad.
He's having a rough season.
Yeah, he looks like he fouled out. Right, 5 fouls is fouling out, right? Yeah, he fouled out.
I didn't know he fouled out.
It looks like he fouled out. Yeah.
Because this is interesting because I think he played the entire game, but he has 5 personal fouls. So this might be a
violation.
Like
Did he finish the game?
No, like a
5 fouls.
discrepancy, like the stat
Yeah.
keepers had him at 5, but the refs didn't have him at 5 or something like that, because I got 5.
Yeah, you definitely weren't in the game after.
And I definitely was not. I definitely was not in the game.
Yeah, so he had a little bit of a rough game. I think the only thing I'll say about Load this week, first of all, they need what's his name?
Ethan.
Yes, Ethan.
He's in the Bahamas right now.
Okay, I'd rather be there too than here, so that's cool. But yeah, Ethan I think is a big person to not have.
Yeah, I agree,
because that really impacts their team. And Rose, he's kind of been struggling a little bit. Like he shot pretty bad. I think last game too. I don't remember the exact number, but he took a lot of shots and didn't make very many of them.
Sure.
And then 7 turnovers. I think he needs to, on this squad, I think he needs to just like attack the paint. Like the 7 threes, I feel like is too much for him on this squad. He should be trying to get like Dawood. Obviously, Dawood definitely took enough shots.
Yeah.
But I think in this game, you got to get James some more threes as well, like just driving kick. You know.
Fair. I mean, I think missing Ethan is a big 3-point shooter. He's got a really great layup, but he's mostly shooting 3. So I feel like in a game like this, you're probably gonna end up seeing like Ghost and James shooting more 3s. But yeah. I agree with you that maybe
I'm saying overall though for the season, like,
sure.
I feel like Ghost needs to be more of a facilitator and like try to drive and get more layups and maybe mid range, not threes. I don't think he should shoot threes on this squad personally.
But fair enough. Well, listen, Laud. Last week I had you as my team that surprised me. Now I'm surprised in the opposite direction because I'm surprised that you're losing this much. So I feel like y'all got to turn it around. Ethan, hopefully you get back soon and you can shape this team up. Salim, 0 for 4, 0 for 2, a couple rebounds, a couple personal fouls. At least you didn't turn it over at all. I'll give you that. We got to make those shots count. This is really hypocritical of me because I'm pretty sure this is when we get to. I have a whole spiel.
We'll get to
we'll get to us. So let's.
Last thing on this week's matchup with Laud and Tiberius, the 18 turnovers are also killer. Like you're not going to win very many games by turning the ball turning the ball over 18 times.
Sure.
So they gotta. So I don't know what happened here, but I think James should be the main ball handler on this team. They're bringing the ball up the court.
I agree.
So I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I don't know if
I
you
mean,
did, but they need
listen,
to.
honestly, when I was watching, this is what it looked like.
It was just
It
ugly.
was a
Right.
lot of okay. I want to stop hating for a second and just be honest. It looked ugly.
It looked ugly.
It looked ugly. There were a lot of turnovers. You could see that the team was frustrated with how the game was going. Um, they had a couple quick runs where they were doing fine. Actually, towards the very end, unfortunately, this seems to be a common theme. Is like at the end is when you see them start playing
Yep.
like the team that they should be. Um, so
Sometimes when your backs are against the wall or whatever, you start pushing harder.
well, we need
It's
to
kind of
see
what
that
happened in our game.
that we need to see that back against the wall kind of effort a little bit sooner than when there's 2 minutes left and the game is basically over.
Yeah.
I think that also you will see Tiberius. Look at that, 38 rebounds. They were fighting. They were fighting for those boards. Hakeem, another.
Like,
go ahead. Let's hear what
I
your
don't want
thoughts
to cut you
are.
off, man. You're the expert here. Go
No,
ahead.
I am definitely not.
I was just gonna say that I think the X factors were Salman and Qasim. Like that's a solid game by both of those guys.
Yeah.
22 points from Qasim and Salman. Not to
Yeah.
take anything away from them, but I'm just saying, like, when you look at the squad, you expect like Hakeem and Ayan and Maz to have most of the points.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that these two had 22 combined, that's killer. Like that's why they won this game, in my opinion. Aside from the other team not out rebounding them. But I mean, look at all these steals, like Hakeem. Like it is a fast team, man. They're like young. They're all like,
dude, they don't gas out.
Yeah,
they can play the whole game.
Well, they're all like 16 years old and 364 days.
So. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering how I've been asking this. I wonder how long they get to like claim the name youth team, because a lot of these guys are in college now.
Are they? Are Hakeem and Maz in college now? Or are they seniors?
I think they're seniors. I mean, we could find out.
Yeah, they're not really I guess you can't really call them the youth team anymore. You still can.
I thought it usually has their age. All right, you slipped by this time, pal.
Wow, that's a good season. MashaAllah.
Yeah, I mean,
that was Hakeem.
Hakeem is this. Yasin's been
wow,
been a big what's it called?
He's shooting 60%, and he's shooting 47% from three. That's ridiculous, man.
He's having Yasin is. I'll give it to Yasin. This has been a pretty good call and pretty consistent call that Hakeem is having like an MVP season so far.
Wow, mashallah.
And I think he was player of the week this week as well.
Okay, Hakeem.
Are
we gonna have to play boxing one against him? Like, this is serious.
Yeah, I mean, like.
Okay, Hakeem.
Hey, listen, I give it to Tiberius. Last week we said, actually for the last 2 weeks we said, because we had the bye week, we said we need to see one more really convincing win out of them to really put the league on notice. This is a pretty convincing win.
The other thing that's really significant here also is that Ayan only had 7 points and only took 6 shots. And he had 5 assists. So he was actually looking to facilitate. He wasn't looking for his own shot, and that's maturity. In my opinion.
I
Not
agree.
that Ayan would go and put up 30 shots before. But
yeah.
I just feel like he's playing the right way.
Yeah.
Because he realizes that having Hakeem and Maz, especially like because they always run around and get offensive rebounds and all that, and they're decent shooters.
Yeah.
He's passing the ball, I think, more than he may have in the past. So I feel like that's really good. So good for Ayan.
And you know what? Something else that I also, yeah, of course, props to Ayan for having a fantastic day and putting his team in position to win. Something that I always like to point out is when everyone on the team is scoring, right? Everyone is contributing something to their win.
Yeah.
This is another one of those teams: 4, 7, 16, 4, 6, 0, 8, 14. I mean, everyone contributed to their win.
That 14 is standing out, man.
Right?
That's solid.
Salman.
Dude, 5 of 8? Dude, that's really good. That's actually hard to do, in my opinion.
I think that Salman is super I mean, me and Yasin tried to give him as many props as we could last week, but I don't think he gets enough attention for his effort. And I think that that's one of his greatest qualities is that when he's on the court, you're getting 110% out of him for the entire time that he's out there. And I think that this week, it showed. 5 for 8, 2 for 4, 2 for 3, 14 points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by those numbers, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because 2 seasons ago, I think it was in the playoffs, we were playing Monim's team, and I'm pretty sure he had someone in his squad.
Mm-hmm.
And he had like a killer 12 points on us. Like, we were not prepared for him to score 12 points. And that was the difference in that game. I think Saad was on that team. Saad Qureshi, my current superstar on our team.
Yeah, I think we held him to like 7-21. Sorry, keep going, keep going.
You lost the game.
No, it's okay. Keep
but
going.
yeah, so Salman, I'm not surprised by that. Like Salman does that, but when he does it, people get surprised. But I don't think there's anything to be surprised about.
I often like to remind people that this is kind of like my first real season. Last season, I basically sat on the bench and watched the games.
Yeah, you were like a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, I mean, even I think that would be generous to say.
That's true.
So I don't have as much experience playing with these guys, so it's always interesting to hear like Yassine's rookie season was with Selman, and if you're in the WhatsApp group chat, I mean, even Selman was talking. They were talking about their first season together and how trash Yassine was during that season. That's just something that's sticking out in my head. I'm not.
Yassine's improved a lot.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Sure. But I, it's always nice to talk to people who have been in the league longer than I have, and hear that. Like for me, I'm surprised that Selman gets 14, but for someone who's had a chance to play with him, you see something different than I see. So
no, I mean even in like pickup, if you play with him in pickup before, like he scores all the time. Like he'll get those layups.
Yeah, sure. I'm usually worried about myself.
He gets that right, like leading to the right three. I don't know how to explain it, but he comes down the court from the left side, dribbling with his right hand, and kind of fades to the right.
Like imagining it. It's like a movie.
And it goes in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, okay, yes, 100% those off the glass ones that he never calls glass for, but they always go.
It goes in, and then you're always, like you said, you're going to get 110% from him.
Yeah.
On defense and rebounding and all that. So he's a good player to have, mashallah.
Listen.
So solid win for Tiberius.
Yeah, Tiberius. I feel like this was the convincing win we were looking for. Props to you guys.
But enough praising them because we play them next week. So can we move on?
Sure. Next game was. This one was you didn't get a chance to watch any of this one?
No, I showed up right when it ended.
There were some. I
saw Drew or somebody hit a 3 in garbage time.
Yeah,
the game was already over.
Ramallah versus Sheikh Jarrah was a fantastic game. It was like it's really hard to describe. You had to be there. I mean, look at that. 24-25 in the first half. Ramallah is Farhad's team, right? Yeah. So they were up. They must have been up like 20-5 or something. And then Sheikh Jarrah just started turning it around, and they started hitting and hitting. And then at the end of the first half, you see how close they brought it. They brought it within a point. And then the second half, again, 34-31. I mean,
yeah,
it was a very close game the entire game. It was a very competitive game. There was some halftime antics. Drew took Jay Smoothie's phone and got a good close up on IG Live of the scoreboard and was like, "Hey, look at this."
At halftime,
I think it might have been. Oh no. It was when they had the lead earlier on when they were up that much, okay. And it's just interesting how I thought it was funny. I think everyone thought it was very funny, but look at how they turned it around. This was a super close game. I think that if they had lost this game, that would have been super embarrassing.
The one thing I have to add here is someone told me that, and I don't know if this is true or not,
sure.
But someone told me that the score was actually 25-8. And if that's true,
25-8 when?
Like sometime early in the game, like it was 25-8. Which means that which means Sheikh Jarrah ended the half on a 16-0 run. Is that true? Does that sound right?
I think that sounds right. I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know that they went on an unbelievable run, and then in the second half they definitely held them to 25 for a long time before Farhad's team was able to turn it around and start hitting it. Actually, Farhad, he had like 3 back-to-back threes. Oh no, sorry, it was 2 back-to-back threes. One of them must have been like foot on the line or something like that. But
he made a couple shots.
I mean, okay, so let's look at this team. Abdurrahman AR, I think this was his first game back after his injury. 10 rebounds, fantastic. 1 turnover, fantastic. Devo, first game back, first game in the league. Welcome to the league. It's nice to have you back. I think Farhad did a fantastic job of filling the giant shoes of Ismail with Devo. Devo had 8 points. He showed up. He was there to help. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. Drew, I mean, what do you say about Drew? 11 for 18, 3 for 5, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 3 turnovers. But I mean, how do you complain about that when he gets 28 points? Farhad with 12 points. Listen, I got the Farhad hater cup, but listen, man, no one was cheering for you louder than I was when you were hitting those back-to-back threes. I'm proud of you, Farhad. Omer hit a fantastic 3.
Was it off the glass or was it actually?
It was a
pure.
It was a fantastic 3, is what it
MashaAllah.
was.
Shout out to Omer, one of my
Um,
favorite young people.
Sad Khurshid, 8 points. I mean, this is another one of those games. Everyone showed up and helped. I mean, there's not much to say. I think that you guys got comfortable in the first half
Yeah.
because you had such a strong lead. And then when Munim's team started firing back, I think it kind of like lit a fire underneath you guys that you guys had to stop messing around a little bit. You stopped messing around, you walked away with the win. 37 rebounds is fantastic. Let's look at Sheikh Jarrah. Hey, listen, A&W, Mr. Abdul Wadud is not there. Munim still put up 13, which is consistent with how he's been doing. So I stand by saying, if you have to take someone in the first round, Abdul Wadud, and no hate to Abdul Wadud, he's a fantastic player. I think a lot of people took what I said as disrespect towards him. It's not. But Abdul Wadud couldn't make it this week, and a lot of people said Munim is only able to do that because Abdul Wadud is doing what he's doing. The only reason Munim can put up points and help his team as much is because of what Abdul Wadud is doing that is not showing up in the stats. Abdul Wadud is not on the stats. Munim still hit 13.
That's a solid game.
Which is consistent with what he's been putting 14, 13, 14, 13.
No, that's a solid game, mashallah.
Right? Yeah. David Barber's second game back, 20 points, 8 rebounds.
This is impressive.
Yeah,
right?
I know
they lost. There's no moral victories. You know that very well. There's no moral victories. But I will say Sheikh Jarrah, like, mashallah, that's quite the effort there. With that missing Andy, who had 20 rebounds against us, by the way. I think if Andy or even one of those guys show up, I don't think Ramallah wins this game.
Yeah, no, I 100%. If Andy's there or Abdul Wadud is there, this team is so hard to rebound against.
I know.
And have you ever tried to fight David for the ball?
I have, yes.
I don't bother. I played pickup with him on Sunday. I accidentally ran into him and my eyeballs were bouncing around in my head. You can't fight David for rebounds.
Yeah.
David, the big bad Barber, 20 points for you, man. I'm proud of you. Welcome back. Yeah. You can't have a podcast without mentioning L. Honestly, I mean, he had a pretty good stat line, right? 5 rebounds, 9 assists, which is fantastic for a point guard. 3 steals, 9 points. I think what was really on display, I guess I forgot you didn't watch. L's handles.
Yeah,
he's got handles. When he's got the ball is safe. You can trust L with the ball.
He's been on my squad for like the last 3 seasons, so I know L very well.
There you go. So you can
solid player. Shout out to my championship teammate from last season.
We're worried about this season.
Of course.
Mansour hit 5. This is another one of those games. Everyone contributed to their almost victory.
No, honestly, like if I'm Monim here as the captain, I'm walking away from this game like happy.
This was a W. This was a W.
It's not even a W. It's a good sign that that some of the guys that probably wouldn't have played as much if like Andy and Saad Afzal and Abdul Wadud and all these guys were there. Like these guys stepped up. I feel like
Sultan also had a great game.
5 steals, dude. That's not easy to do. He's a good.
You got to give it to Sultan. That dude is physical.
Yeah.
And he gets his hands on the basketball, dude.
Yeah. He plays hard.
He's another one of those guys that reminds me of Selman, where it's like it's always effort all the time. He never slows down. His gas tank is always full.
When you have guys like that on your team, you always have a chance to win.
For sure, I agree.
Because they're gritty. They can mix it up with people down low. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like this is a good game for Sheikh Jarrah. I know you guys lost and there's no moral victories, but like
you really have to.
There's a lot of positives you can take away from this because obviously this is regular season, right?
Yeah, you're really pushing that no moral victories home.
I have to. Yeah. We have to get to the next game, don't we?
All right. Well, perfect timing. Let's transition right over to our last game. A lot of people were gone for this game. A lot of people didn't get to watch it. I don't blame them. Why would they want to watch? All right.
I wouldn't watch either if without Anwar there. Why would I watch this game? You already know.
Listen, say what you want, but Baba Waqas shows up.
Yeah,
he's been showing up, and the unfortunate injury of Anwar definitely hurts the team. It's impossible to like act like it doesn't hurt us, right? And it's actually, I think it would be disrespectful to Anwar and his talent and his how important he is to our team to act like it's not a huge loss for us. But I have to give an unreal amount of respect to Wakas for
Oh, that was
filling those
impressive.
shoes.
He hasn't even played in 2 weeks. I don't think he just stepped on the court and just dropped like 20 on us. How much did he
Yeah,
have? 23. I think he had 23. Yeah, he had 23.
23.
So, mashallah, that's amazing. And 13 rebounds
So let's start
without
by
sitting.
yeah. So we'll get to our team in a second. Talk about your team.
So my team, I think we played okay for the most part. The only thing is that we didn't make a lot of shots that we usually make. Like I know I missed a couple. I didn't take that many shots this game, but I know I missed at least 3 wide open shots in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
I was 0 I scored all these points in the second half. Only 8 points, by the way, not all these points. But yeah, I had a rough shooting half in the first half, and I came in I think at 12 minutes. But forget about me. It looks like
It's easy.
It looks like Saad Qureshi had kind of a rough game. I didn't realize he took 6 threes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was covering him for most of that time.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. It was me and Ahmed Naeem were double teaming up.
I think you guys did. I think you guys did a good job defensively on him because it looked like a couple of times he was kind of stuck, like he was driving in kind of in traffic, and
I would say
times.
that I think our zone worked really well. Given I think our original I don't think I know our original plan was man against you guys because we knew the guys that we really wanted to lock down and the guys that we wanted to force to shoot.
Yeah.
But we found out last minute, unfortunately, that we were down to like 5 guys, and so we had to like make a last minute game.
You have to play zone when you have 5 players.
We had to find a way to like try to conserve our energy as much as we could while trying to shut down. I mean, your team has some fantastic shooters. Like Saad is a fantastic shooter. I would also, regrettably say that you're a fantastic shooter. So
Dude,
we knew
Jahed
the guys
is a good shooter. I gotta call out Jay Smoothie here. Can I have a 30-second Jay Smoothie call out here?
You can have 45 seconds.
So Jahed is a very good 3-point shooter. I know people, well, some of you guys want to hate on his shot or whatever, or the fact that he shoots off one leg. But I will say that his one-legged shot is better than Devo's one-legged shot. So I would say Jahed is definitely the best one-legged 3-point shooter in the league.
Okay.
And even overall, just like I've been playing with him for years. Like there's been times where he's hit 5 threes in a row. So like he can get hot. So don't underestimate him. Actually, you know what? Just leave him open. Don't guard him. When he's in the game, don't even guard him. He's gonna make you pay. All right, enough about Jahed. Moving on to the rest of my squad. I mean, I feel like we out rebounded you guys, which I think is huge.
Fair. 37.
You have 2 of the best rebounders in the league, probably top 5. If we were to look, I'm not gonna look, but I'm pretty sure.
Top rebound. I don't get that many rebounds.
No, not you, man. I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about. Matt and Wakas. I'm pretty sure they're both top 5 in rebounds per game.
We'll have a chance to look at that in a moment.
So I think the fact that we out rebounded you guys is huge for us because I think we needed that. And Osman only had 4, by the way. Osman hasn't really gotten his his footing yet.
Yassine's call. Usman, we got to see more out of you, bro.
Yeah, no, inshallah, you will. I think he's just kind of he's doing the whole captain thing, so he hasn't really integrated himself. And even though I've told him before,
you're great at like up talking your team no matter what. I respect that. I respect that a lot. You have like a good way of like twisting whatever mean thing I might have to say into like a good thing.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not just saying it because it's my team, but I feel like we have a very solid squad. I don't think anybody's giving us credit, and rightfully so. We haven't really had that win yet where you're like, oh man, these guys are a threat.
Yeah.
Because like 2 of our wins were against, like the one win was against Farhad's team without Drew, who's their best player.
That's fair.
Our other win was against you guys without your best player.
And I was on the court. Sorry. No, keep going. I'm confusing myself.
This guy thinks he's the best player on his team. Anyway, so Anwar did not play. So that win, people are going to look at this win too and be like, oh, well,
there's like a little asterisk.
They won because their best player. But it's like, I mean, we also have played without some of our key players too, you know. So
I mean, you guys have next week to really show up against the youth team. They're on fire right now. This is your chance to really get that win that you're talking about.
I don't think Saad is coming, so yeah, we'll see how that goes.
So that gives. I mean, like, listen.
But I still think we're gonna win. By the way, don't get me wrong.
No, of course, but you took 6 threes. Maybe Saad missing the game put some more pressure on your shoulders to hit some more shots for your team.
Honestly, for our team, I don't think we're going to win games by rebounding and playing defense.
I mean, 37 rebounds is
fantastic. Offensively, I feel like we're okay. Like Adil, I feel like has been playing really well. Shout out to Adil. He had a rough game the first game. But the last 2 weeks, like I think he had 10 points the week before, and then now he had 8 points, and that's not a bad percentage. 4 of 9 is
Yeah.
not bad at all. So I think we have guys that can like also David. You guys have called out David before, by the way,
David
and said
Flores.
that he's
I
you guys
love
love him.
watching David
You
Flores.
guys love
He's
David.
one of those nice guys that you just love to watch play.
So even him, like he's capable of scoring 20 points.
I
He's
agree.
just very unselfish, and he'll do whatever you need for you
Sure.
know to get a win. So he's probably going to be looking to score more. I hope on Saturday. So I think we'll be okay even without Saad. But anyway, we're still talking about this game. But yeah, I mean overall, I feel like our we missed shots. Let's just put it that way. Like we
Sure.
didn't shoot the ball well at all. So that didn't help. We can credit your defense since that's probably what you want, right? You want to credit your defense.
No, no,
Sure,
no.
you can
I
have
mean,
that.
I think
But
we can move over to our team. Listen,
let me comment on your team.
sure, go ahead. Let's hear it. Let's hear what you have to say.
So first of all, I feel like you guys played really well, considering you only had 5 players. I already knew that between Matt and Wakas, and you can ask my teammates. I said this before the game. I was like, 30 points minimum are going to come from Wakas and Matt. We have to make sure everybody else does not have a good game. Umar had a good game.
I know, had a fantastic game.
So those 13 points by Umar, I feel like, is why this game was even close.
Mm-hmm.
Because the 23 and 13, like I said, 30 points between those two. I mean, the 29, the 23 and the 9, I mean, between Matt and Wakas, like that's what, 32 points. So I called that. I said 30 points between them. Whatever the combination was,
Sure.
I knew they were going to have at least 30 points combined.
Yeah.
Because they're going to take the most shots. But with Umar scoring the 13 points, like that was killer, man.
Batman had a day. I love that Batman mask.
That 3 he hit was so deflating. When he hit that, I was like, this is not happening. I think that cut it to 2. We were up 5 with a minute something left.
Those last couple of minutes where it was getting super close, and those are the minutes, I'll admit, that hurt the most when you're sitting on the bench and you know that like you're in the sin bin, like you got in trouble and now you're sitting like that's it.
You're in timeout. Yeah.
I mean, listen, I have nothing but respect for my team. It was unfortunate that I fouled out. I didn't actually know that I was in foul trouble. I thought that my third foul, you were going for like some layup and I kind of like hugged you and just like whatever.
That's all you can do, right?
Right. So okay.
I don't blame you.
We're gonna just keep 3. I kind of just held on to you, and I thought that was my 3rd foul.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, that was my 4th. Someone knew that was my 4th, but it wasn't announced because for fear that it would be like okay, like let's just get Yusuf out of the game like with an easy like ticky-tacky foul. But clearly that didn't matter because very early in the second half, I might have accidentally run into someone.
You probably forgot about that foul, maybe. Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
You got to keep track of your fouls.
Yeah, I was not keeping track of my fouls. That was honestly, I take responsibility for that. Also, in the spirit of being fair and honest, last week with Yassine, we looked at a couple teams and we saw some zeros across the board on people's stats. And I said those people had to find ways to contribute to their team. If we're looking at my stats, I can be real. 0 for 5, 0 for 4, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 5 personal fouls and 0 points. So listen, that same, what's it called? That same sentiment of finding a way to participate in your team's victories and their games extends to myself. I have to find a better way to contribute to my team the way that I can. But if we take me out of the equation, actually, when I sat, my team started playing better. That could be because my shooting was not fantastic, and it gave Wakas and Matt and Amr a better chance to shoot the ball because they had the ball more.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they did better, and I'm proud of them for showing up the way that they did.
It's a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, Ahmed Naeem, I'd love to see him driving more. I think he's got fantastic handles, underrated handles, and a nice layup. I'd love to see him driving more, but I have nothing but praise for Wakas, Matt, Amr, and Ahmed for doing what they could with what they had.
You guys played well, I thought, and I think for us, we were kind of cruising in the first half, and I think we thought that we were gonna come out in the second half and blow you out because you guys were gonna get tired, which we probably would have if some of those shots fell. I think we took like a 10-point lead, maybe, or a 9-point lead. So
until Wakas started showing up.
Yeah,
I mean,
Wakas hit some tough ones on me,
yeah,
man.
there were a lot of those where I was 100% sure. I mean, I guess I was not 100% sure. I was pretty sure there was no way that they were going in, and then they would go in and, um, respect him. Hey, how about 33 rebounds? Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at
We
all.
barely out rebounded you guys. Now imagine if I decided to do what I usually do and shoot from half court and not come in and actually get rebounds. My biggest concern this game, I already knew that Wakasa and Matt were gonna have a double double or at least have double digit rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did not want Umar to have like 15 rebounds. I was like, there's no way I am letting Umar have
He's hard to
15
fight.
rebounds and offensive rebounds because he's very good at offensive rebounding.
I think he's a little unassuming. I think he looks a little like taller and lankier.
Yeah.
Until like he runs into you and you realize that there's nothing like soft about this guy. Like this guy will run you over and he fights every single play for like the rebound, for a steal, everything.
Honestly, I feel like if he would have had 13 rebounds instead of 13 points, I feel like that would have been more killer for us. To
think
be
so?
honest, I think so. I think so because you don't want Matt or Wakas getting an offensive rebound or him getting an offensive rebound and just lobbing it to one of those two and them doing a layup.
Yeah,
that would have probably been another 10 points.
I agree.
So my goal was to not let him have 10 rebounds. Alhamdulillah, I accomplished that. And I grabbed a couple of boards even over Matt and stuff. I was trying to get boards because I knew that would be a factor here. So I'm glad I changed my game up a little bit for that.
Well, listen, all respect to you guys. You guys walked away with the win, no excuses. Inshallah, next week I'll find a better way to contribute rather than just 5 personal fouls. And like I said, all respect to my team for showing up the way that they did and making it happen. I think Wakas should have been in the running for a player of the week.
If he would have won, he would have been easily
100%.
Right?
But
he easily would have been.
You've seen again, unfortunate commissioner talking about, oh, we want to give everyone a chance, like participation awards. So, alhamdulillah, inshallah, next week we'll see a new and improved.
Do we know how long Anwar's going to be out? By the way, did he say?
I actually don't. I have no idea. He said at least a couple weeks.
I hope inshallah
that was last week
before playoffs.
Inshallah,
that would be annoying.
Yeah,
for you guys to not be able to.
I mean, inshallah. I mean, anyone who's injured, inshallah, we want you, but we want you to come back healthy and to play. No, I feel like anyone with honor doesn't love to win when a team is like hurt and down bad. Like that's not a win that you like jump up and down and scream about.
Of course,
right?
Yeah, I mean, even this win for
yeah.
Like I walked away from this win like
sad.
We barely won this game and Anwar didn't even play. So I'll be honest there, but also at the same time, one thing I want last comment here,
sure,
because this happened to me before too.
Yeah.
When you play against 4 players and you have 5, it's like this mental block. Like you think you got this. Like we got this. Yeah. We got 5, they have 4.
They have 4.
There's no way they're gonna win.
You could double team whoever has the ball every time.
Well, the thing is, the person that's doubling ends up not doubling hard.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I'm here, whatever. But then like another person will just go by one of the other guys and just do a layup, and it's like, how did they score?
I think that the other part of that also is that the team with 4, like, they start showing up more because like now we're down. So the guys with 4 start playing harder, and the team with 5 is kind of like, okay, like, we just gotta cruise.
Especially if it's close. Like in this game, we were only up by like 9 when you fouled out. That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's less than 10 points, and there was like 3 minutes left, I think.
So I'm putting the league on notice.
Super 150%.
Yeah.
And we started going, oh, we got 5. Let's relax.
Yeah, let's chill. Well, listen, I'm putting the league on notice that I'm counting my fouls from now on. So, just something to keep in mind that I'm just going to start counting on my fingers. All right, let's take a look at this week's stats and leaders. No surprise, every single picture is Drew. Drew's number 1 for points, 21 points per game. My boy Wakas coming in second, 17. Sad Qureshi, 16. Hakeem, 16. And Anwar, 14. Rebounds, Andy holds his lead at 12.5. You know what? Honestly, I'm interested in seeing.
Wakas is not in the top 5 in rebounds. What?
Let's see here. The top 5 for rebounds: Andy, Drew, David Barber set his second game and he's in 3rd place. David Flores, my man, and Matt from Nazareth. Wakas is
all the way down there. Huh?
All the way down there.
I think because you guys have Matt this season, that's probably why.
That's fair. Even like Anwar is there too.
Matt, stop taking all of Wakas's rebounds. He really cares about his stats.
Matt, keep fighting for those rebounds.
Please give those rebounds to Wakas.
Let's see. Look at Yassine. Look how low he is. Okay, assists. L, mad respect to L. L and AN, two guys that I'm not surprised about, leading the league in assists. Steals, Abdul Wadud is still at number one he's tied for number one with Drew. I think Drew was second. Now he pushed himself to tie with Abdul Wadud. They're both at 2.75 steals per game. Amr, my boy, 2.5. Sumer also 2.3.
Oh yeah, you guys have
There we
Sumer
go.
too. Sumer would have been useful against us, huh?
Right? He would have, unfortunately, couldn't make it. Blocks per game, Drew again with 1.25.
Wow, who's number 5?
Let's see. Wasay is number
I did top 5 in
number 5
blocks.
for
That is funny.
for blocks. Hey, look, there you are again, number 4 for 3 points. So double doubles. Drew is also in first place, and there is a 1, 2, 3, 4-way tie between Abdul Wadud, Anwar, David Flores, and Hakeem for second place. Drew, you're gonna have to keep it up because there's four guys contesting you for first place. Free throws, big surprise there. Drew Moore once again is in first place. Listen, we talk about it every week. It's hard not to respect Drew. He's a fantastic teammate. He's always uplifting his guys no matter what. I've had a couple times that I've gotten to play with him. Super encouraging to his team no matter what. If they're down, if they're up, he's always looking for ways to uplift his team. Mad respect to him. He definitely deserves this.
Yeah, he's a team player.
100%.
I'll give him that.
Number one for free throws. Anwar, my boy, is in second. Two Sads. Sad Khurshid, third, and fourth, Sad Qureshi. 3-point, Mr. Dawood, first place. My first round pick, second place for third. For three point goals. Monem, Ethan Lovey still holding on to that 3 desperately, but Wasay creeping up at number 4 to take Ethan's spot.
I'm surprised I'm there because I haven't really been shooting that well, but I'll take it. Top 5 and 3-pointers made. Wow. I mean, how surprising.
What Dawood is doing a pretty solid job of holding on to his spot.
Yeah, man. He's shooting a good percentage too, I think.
Mashallah, inshallah, we get to see more out of him this season. Okay, let's take a quick look at next week's games, and then I have a couple questions, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, next week we have Sheikh Jarrah Monaim's team versus Lod Yassine's team. Who do you got?
It depends on who shows up, but I gotta go with Sheikh Jarrah. Sorry, Yassine, I love you. And the reason why I'm going with Sheikh Jarrah, in case you're wondering, is when they have their full squad, they are tough to beat.
Sure.
They actually put up 75 points on us that game where we had the 6-point jersey penalty.
Sure.
They put up 75 points on us, but they out-rebounded us like crazy. We had a decent shooting game. That's why we were in that game. But I think they out-rebounded us by maybe like 20 rebounds.
Wow.
So I just feel like, especially if shots aren't falling, like Yassine's team does not get in the offensive rebound. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough for them to win, in my opinion. So I'm gonna have to go with Sheikh Jarrah. Now, if people don't show up, then that's different. But
I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. Oh, wait a second! I've been talking about your predictions for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah. We get to actually see the predictions live. You get to hear the predictions that he whispers to me from the sidelines that are always wrong. So we'll get to see.
I don't know what he's talking about.
We'll get to see how they hold up. I'm gonna go with Yassine's team for the upset, which is hard for me to say because normally I might feel a little bitter towards the younger brother who doesn't draft his own brother. But and funny. Especially because I've been rooting for Monaim this entire season. He's my number 1 pick, and he's been having a fantastic season. And especially last week, he had a chance to show everyone that it's not a fluke, that he could hold up even if he didn't have his star players on his team. He could still put up the same amount of points. But I'm going to go with Lod just because I think that Yassine's team is really fired up with 3 losses and being in last place, that they're gonna fight tooth and nail. And I think if they're fighting tooth and nail, they can make this a competitive game.
So one thing I will say about Monim's team is that we actually were able to score on them.
Sure.
Even though they're a good defensive team, like we put up 68 points against them.
Yeah.
Actually 74 if you don't count the jerseys. The jersey problem.
Sure.
So we actually put up 74 points on them.
Yeah.
So you can score on them, but I feel like that game also, just to be fair, it was David Barber's first game,
Mm-hmm.
so they were kind of just figuring out the
Where he
rotation
fits
and
and
where he fits and that kind of thing. So maybe there's a little bit of confusion on defense too. I'll be fair
mm-hmm.
since I'm supposed to be fair here.
You don't have to. Yassine
Um,
is never fair.
I'm gonna be fair. Um, so, but I think once David figures out how to play with all the other guys on that team who are also all like gritty and defensive minded, rebounding minded. I just it's tough. Like they're gonna be tough to beat. I'll
I
just be
agree.
honest. So you going with Yassine's team, it sounds nice, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Let's see who shows up to the game
We're
though.
just gonna we're gonna see who shows up. Also to your point about finding out where David fits on his team. I think that as soon as Monim's team figures out how to get the ball to David on the pick and roll, it will probably be game over. David is always open, and it's almost always a mismatch when he rolls to the basket. He just gets missed a lot, and so people don't think about it. But if you're watching on the sidelines, I
Yeah.
encourage you, if you're watching the game, just take a moment to watch David playing. When he rolls to the basket, that dude is always open, and it's always a mismatch, and he can always get that like hook layup.
And he finishes it.
Always, it
Yeah.
always, he always makes that basket. As soon as Monim's team like figures out how to get the ball to him in that position,
Yeah.
it might be a game over. It might be game
You might be
over.
right.
But we'll see. You seen if you disappoint me a second time, disappointing me first by not being here, and disappointing me again, you might have to find a new co-host. Our next game is Ramallah versus Nazareth. This is my first 10 o'clock game, so we'll see if I can wake up on time. Listen, it's kind of hard to be. It's kind of hard to be on the podcast and ever root against your own team. And so I'm not. And that's why I'm taking Nazareth against Farhad's team. Farhad, you have no chance. Yeah. I was gonna think about what I was saying, but I'm done thinking about it.
I gotta think about this one for a second. Um, because of the way Farhad's team played and gave up that huge lead and went down against 5 players,
Yeah.
I don't think I can go with them just because Anwar is not playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to call an upset on this one. I'm going to go with your team.
You're making the right call.
Of course.
This is going to be his only correct prediction of the entire week.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with your team because I feel like Wakas is going to get his, and I feel like Matt's going to get his. And if you have Somer back,
yeah,
that's going to help a lot. And Junaid too. Junaid's on your team as well.
Yeah, he is.
And Junaid hits shots.
He does.
Like
he's a sleeper.
He's actually very efficient.
That dude hits threes very efficiently.
Yeah, he may not play lockdown defense, but they have you for that.
Yeah, well, if there's one thing I can do, it's I can foul out really well.
There you go. So he can shoot threes while you lock down the best player.
I think that it will. I definitely think that it will be a challenging game. I expect Farhad to show up, and I expect his team to put up a really solid fight. But I mean, can you blame me for having unwavering faith in my squad?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you guys are going to have to do, and I don't know if I should. Do we have time still? Are we almost done here? We are almost done, right?
We're wrapping up.
Yeah. So I was just going to say that I think if you guys figure out how to not let Drew score 28 points, which I think you have a couple of guys that you can put on him that'll make it hard for him to score.
Sure.
And get those, right-handed layups from the left side, Euro step, whatever Drew does.
Yeah.
He always makes that layup. If you put a body on him and he doesn't score 28 points,
who else on his team is going to put up that many points?
I'm going with you guys.
Thank you very much. Hey, all respect to Farhad's team, but like I said, I'm not going to ever take anyone over my boys. And our last game, Tiberius versus Dir Yassin. Who do you got?
Why don't you go first?
You're Dir Yassin?
We're Dir Yassin, yes.
Yeah, I'm taking Tiberius in a heartbeat. No, listen, I think I'm going to take Tiberius because of the way that Hakeem and Maz have been playing. And also how their captain, Ayan, has been playing in facilitating the ball and making sure that their playmakers are getting the ball. I think, while unfortunate, I think that it was a little concerning. I mean, we still lost, but I think it's still concerning that 4 of us could hold the game so close for a team that's mostly completely healthy. I think that also the youth team has some youth. They fight for every single rebound, just like you guys do. I think that they'll match up really well against you guys. I think this is going to be another competitive game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think that this game could get away from you guys if you let the youth team play their game and if you let them uh, like out cardio you guys. I think that'll be a big factor is that they can play the full 40 minutes and they're chill, like it's fine.
That's fair. Can I go now? My turn.
It's your turn.
So I'm gonna go with my team, of course. And the reason for that is because we're the best team in the league, number one. And number two, I just feel like we match up really well with them in terms of rebounding. They're not. I don't think like it's a point of emphasis is going to be not letting Maz or Hakeem get any offensive rebounds.
Good luck.
So that's going to take away at least, I would say 10 to 15 of their points combined. You're saying good luck. Watch. Inshallah, we will
Okay,
we will grab
inshallah.
those we'll grab those defensive rebounds so they don't turn into offensive rebounds for them.
Yeah.
That's going to be key against them. Obviously, slowing the pace down. We don't want to play at their pace because they're all like 16 and 364 days old. So, I think we're gonna win. It's gonna be a close game though. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout.
Sure.
We're gonna probably slow the pace down.
Don't give away too much.
And
they watch this.
They can watch it. It's okay. I mean, they're probably gonna try to use their youth, and I already know how they play, so it's not. It's I already know what to expect. It's just gonna come down to our strategy, and we just need all of our guys to show up and play hard, and I think we're gonna win, for sure. The thing with Ayan's team is that if you limit, so Hakeem obviously has been their best player. If you limit Hakeem and his brother to maybe 10 points, I just feel like unless Ayan scores like 30 points, they're probably not going to win. We got to watch out for Salman too.
I think part of what you're saying though is if you guys can keep Maz and Hakeem to 10-point games. I think the reality is in 5 weeks of play, no one has been able to hold them to 10.
Well, they haven't played against us yet.
Oh.
And they decided to not show up the first time we were going to play against them. They had to forfeit because they were sleeping.
That's a good point. I didn't realize it was against you guys.
They haven't played us yet.
All right. Well, I think your call is fair.
So I think we're going to win, and yeah, it'll be a good game.
All right. Well, there are your calls from James Harden and myself. I have a couple questions for you before we go off.
For me, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you got?
So my first question is, how long have you played Muslim basketball, or this league? Not playing basketball as a Muslim.
You mean in New Jersey too, right?
Yeah. Just in this league.
So since 2007.
Wow, that's a lot of years.
Yeah. I didn't play every single season, but
yeah, that's a lot of years.
But 2007, I was a senior in high school. That was my first season in New Jersey.
Okay. How was that season for you?
I was terrible personally.
Interesting. So you haven't grown much since then. Sorry.
No, I wasn't. I didn't have a good season, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but I was not I didn't really know how to play basketball yet. I was still learning.
You didn't play in high school?
I did, but freshman year. I didn't play varsity or anything. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
well, that leads me into my second question, because I actually thought that you played more in high school. Endless range doesn't run in the family, clearly. How did you find it?
Endless range.
Well, Akbar tends to do the jump shots or 3-point, right on the 3-point line. But you're really, once you actually, to your credit, our game plan when we were going to do man was that as soon as actually we said whoever is on Wasay must pick him up from the NBA 3. So that's basically as soon as you cross the half court line, someone has to be on you, otherwise you're going to shoot it. So where did you find that that you could shoot from that deep?
So I think that developed over time, based on people I used to play with. A lot of times. So first of all, I wasn't super quick ever. I wasn't super fast. I wasn't gonna come up the court and full speed South Qureshi go and do a layup on anybody. Sure. So what I started realizing was, that shot is always there. Even if you look at the NBA now, not that I'm comparing myself to NBA players.
That's what he's doing.
But a lot of these guys shoot that shot like Steph Curry. Even Damian Lillard does it. They pull up from way far out because you can get that shot anytime you want. Most people are not going to step up, and if they do, they'll be too afraid that you're going to drive around them, so they most likely won't
They
contest it.
give you some space.
They'll give you space. They might step
True.
up, but they're not going to come super tight because you might go around them.
Yeah.
So maybe people think I'm going to go around them, and I will go around you. So yeah.
Well, I mean, like to your credit, when you got around me, my reaction was like I gotta hold on to him and try to stop him like that. Unfortunately, um,
But yeah,
well,
to answer your question though, yeah, it developed over time, and it's just practice. Like you got to just like when I was in college, I would just go and just
just throw
put
it
up
from the half
shots.
court line, like just letting it
No, I
fly.
would. No, I would practice certain shots. I can show you those shots
I'm
maybe on the
good.
court one day if you want to
Yeah,
ever shoot from half court.
probably not.
But it
I'm probably
takes.
not playing much after the way the way I
Well, there you
played
go.
last
Yeah.
week. All right, and my last question for you is: have you ever done the draft before?
I
Like, is
think
this your first season playing Muslim basketball where there was a draft?
I think this was the first season. I remember one season I got picked up as a free agent,
Hmm.
but I'm pretty sure it was not a draft.
Okay,
They just picked me as part of the free agents.
fair. So let's assume that this is so. It sounds like this is your first time being a part of a draft.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that draft style?
Now that we're into the season and it's been a couple of weeks, I actually like it.
Yeah.
When we first were doing it, I was like, "This is terrible. This is horrible. Why are we doing this?
Hmm.
I want to play with my squad that won the championship so we could defend our title."
Fair.
So I had that in my head. But now that we did this draft style, like it's actually been fun playing with new players and coming up with a strategy. And I just feel like the league is more even now. Like all the
I
teams are balanced. Like
how can
look at the standings. Look at the.
how can you argue about balance? It's 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 2-3,
That's what I'm
2-3,
saying.
2-3.
That's what I'm saying.
Those are
And you
even.
get closer with other people that but you don't really know them that
Fair.
well because you never play with them, right? So you kind of get closer with your teammates and stuff too. So
I
I
agree.
feel like it's been good. I have no complaints about the draft. I would do it again for sure.
Love that.
Yeah,
Well, I would also say that this is my first time getting to play. I've played with Wakas and Anwar before. I've
yeah,
played with Sumer before. I've played with Ahmed Naim a couple times before, but this is my first time like really playing with them. Like I'm on their team and like um, it's really nice to be on a team of guys that I don't really know and perhaps don't really know me as well, but like I really feel like they've taken me under their wing and like they see that like okay like this guy can be coached like I'm learning so many new things from these guys because I've never had a chance to play with them before
hmm,
and so they have a new and unique perspective on the way that I'm playing as
absolutely.
opposed to like the guys that I've been like playing pickup with for a couple of years. Unfortunately, you've seen I've heard that advice echoed a million times. Like it's nice to get
Different
some
perspective.
different perspective on my game. um
I gotta agree with you because same thing on my team now. When I was with Okas and Unwar, it was kind of like I had a role that I had to
yeah.
play, and I already knew that coming
Hmm.
in. And this team, I'm still figuring out what my role is.
Yeah, where you fit.
Obviously,
Yeah,
I'm gonna shoot, right? But like
shoot or shoot.
I can't like not rebound
Yeah.
either. Like I have to do other stuff. I can't just like stand on the wing and go, Wakas, Unwar, pass me the ball. Let me shoot.
Yeah.
Like I can't do that. So I like that part of it too. Like it's forcing me to step out of my comfort zone a little bit.
I think that that's how you
So
grow.
yeah.
So this might be a surprise. I played basketball for 12 years. I played point guard for 12 years, growing up, and I was in that weird age range where like one year I'd play with a group of kids who were younger than me,
Hmm.
and then the next year I'd play with a group of kids that were older than me, and then the next year I played. So I was never on the same team. I was always like bouncing back and forth. Um, the years that I got to play with the guys who were older than me, that like I was not like I didn't really know them. Um, obviously they're much better than I am. Those were the years that I grew.
Oh yeah.
Those were and then my next, so that year I always knew this year's gonna suck. Like I'm not gonna play very well because I'm like with these guys are so much, they're older than me, they're playing so much better than me. But I do know that next year I'll be one of the better guys on the younger team because
Yep.
I had a chance to play with better players. So I feel like this season has been a is a good way of like playing with new guys that you haven't played before, finding your role on that team, and learning from those
Are you
guys.
trying to say Ahmed's old?
Ahmed, who?
Ahmed Naeem.
Thank you for thank you for being here. No, of course not. That dude runs like he's 16. Thank you very much for being here, Wasay. I really appreciate it. I think you guys are going to also enjoy next week's guests as well. Sorry for the wait. There was snow, and then we work adult jobs that you have to show up for every day, and you can't sleep through the alarm, and you have to. Um, so, do you have any final comments?
Nothing. Just jazakumullah khair to you guys
Yeah, of
for
course. So
doing
yeah,
this. I feel like this adds a whole other like dimension to the league. It's fun.
It is fun. I think
People
that
are on YouTube all day anyway, so
yeah,
might as
why
well watch
not?
Yassine and Yusuf.
Yeah,
Why not?
right. This is your chance. Listen, this is what I tell the dudes right before they go out on the court. Give me something good to talk about.
There
You
you
give me
go.
something good to talk about. You'll hear your name on the podcast, and I'll talk you up.
It's
Um,
fun. It's fun. I'm glad you guys are doing
yeah,
this. So
alhamdulillah. It's a lot of fun, and it's nice to have the dudes on and come talk. And it's nice to see the engagement that like the players really do want to see what's going on with the podcast and stuff. So obviously, ending the podcast on the right note by reminding you to continue donating to Palestine. Keep raising your voice for the people of Palestine. Don't ever forget them in your prayers, and let's just make sure that we are doing as much as we can for our brothers and sisters over there. All right, Wasay, thank you for being here. Inshallah, we'll see if your predictions hold up.
I think they will.
I'm
Inshallah.
sure you do think they will. All right.
How long